with me, Shilshmato for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Dr. Sim Kui Hian, awaiting a technical report from the Public Works Department (JKR) regarding the structural condition of a century-old building in Padungan, recently reported to have cracks. Malaysia and ASEAN countries need to come together and form an agreement on the tariffs announced, says Prime Minister. And on to world news, China on Monday said the United States was aiming for hegemony on the name of reciprocity through its massive tariffs program announced by President Donald Trump. We begin with this news. The issue of safety in old buildings must be addressed seriously, involving not only the owners and tenants, but also the public in their surrounding areas. Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Dr. Sim Kui Hian, stated that he is awaiting a technical report from the Public Works Department, or JKR, regarding the structural condition of a century-old building in Padungan, which has been recently reported to have cracks. According to him, there are various possibilities for old buildings to experience cracking, but owners also need to take responsibility for reporting any early signs before they pose a risk or safety threat. Dr. Sim Kui Hian also added that the cost of repairing old buildings is much higher compared to building new ones. However, the conservation process is still important to preserve the city's heritage and historical remnants. Commenting further, he said, Sarawak is not excluded from facing the same challenges as major cities around the world, with high-rise buildings aged over 20 years old. Moreover, the Strata Management Ordinance also plays an important role in ensuring that high-rise buildings with age are properly maintained and regulated. Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Sarawak, Dr. Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, has called for immediate inspections of old buildings to ensure their safety for occupancy. This measure aims to prevent tragic incidents such as building collapses that could pose significant risks to residents. He stressed the urgency of taking action to avoid accidents similar to the one that occurred early Sunday morning on Jalan Padungan, which could have led to serious injury or loss of life. He stated that the building collapse serves as a reminder that old, deteriorating structures require immediate attention. Additionally, Karim revealed that the Padungan area, known as Chinatown, with buildings over 100 years old, has yet to be designated as a heritage site. The charred remains of an elderly woman were found after an inferno consumed 16 squatter houses at Jalan Tanjung Kidurong, Sungai Pelan on Monday. According to a spokesman for the Fire and Rescue Department, the deceased has been identified as Nui Ipang, 77. Meanwhile, the firefighters from Kidurong and Midlu stations were dispatched to the scene after receiving a distress call at 11:06 a.m. Upon arrival, they confirmed that 16 houses were engulfed by flames and the extinguishing deed was performed using water sourced from a nearby fire hydrant. Meanwhile, the fire was brought under at 12:30 p.m. and overhaul works followed suit to ensure no risk of reignition. A total of 91 residents, including 66 adults and 25 children, managed to evacuate safely. Meanwhile, no injuries were reported and the cause of the fire and losses incurred is still under investigation. Welcome back. Malaysia and ASEAN countries need to come together and form an agreement on the tariffs announced by the United States or US to ensure that upcoming negotiations and discussions have a solid foundation, said Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. He said that although the tariff announcement by US President Donald Trump was made on questionable grounds, ASEAN countries should not take the matter lightly, especially in the current uncertain global economic and political climate.
Walaupun kita tahu ini suatu yang agak aneh sebab di antara negara yang paling kuat mendukung semangat perdagangan bebas, penubuhan WTO dan GATT sebelumnya adalah negara-negara kaya, termasuk dan utamanya Amerika Syarikat. Tetapi keadaan berubah. Sebab itu saya kata pasca normal, post-normal times ni kadang-kadang melihat beberapa kebijakan politik dan ekonomi yang tidak terjangka.
Early yesterday, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim stated that the country's economy is expected to remain resilient and will not experience a recession, despite the potential negative impact from the introduction of the new tariff. However, he also warned that the economic growth projection for this year will need to be reassessed if the 24% tariff is implemented. The projected gross domestic product GDP growth for 2025 is estimated at 4.5% to 5.5%, might need to be reconsidered if the tariff is enforced. Over 300 victims of the gas pipeline fire in Putra Heights, Subang Jaya here near last week, have received counselling assistance at the one-stop social support centre set up at the Temporary Relief Centre. Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development Datuk Seri Nancy Shukri said that reports from the counselling sessions conducted by 10 counsellors every day revealed that only a small number of the victims experienced serious trauma.
Ada juga yang betul-betul yang trauma tu, tapi tak ramai lah, tak ramai. Maybe peratusan kalau 0.1% je lah, tak ramai. Tak ramai, because yang betul-betul teruk tu dah di hospital.
Maknanya mereka dah seminggu sini, mereka masih lagi dalam keadaan baik lah.
I think because mereka tempat mengadu kan, jadi dan juga yang diperlukan itu kebanyakannya disantuni.
She told this to reporters after visiting the victims at a relief centre at the Putra Heights Mosque on Monday. Nancy also added that said among the urgent needs of the victims were mobile phones, air purifiers for autistic children, nursing bras for mothers who had just given birth, balms or ointments for headaches, and disposable diapers. In response to complaints from a number of victims who no longer want to stay at the PPS, Nancy explained that the matter falls under the jurisdiction of the agency that manages housing and accommodation.
Itu urusan agensi yang lain untuk mengurus mereka dari segi perumahan, tempat tinggal, dari segi insurans, semua bukan dalam urusan kita.
Petronas Gas Berhad PGB is actively assessing the financial and operational impacts of the fire that occurred at its main pipeline in Putra Heights. In the filing with Bursa Malaysia today, the company stated that it will fully cooperate with the relevant authorities to determine the cause of the incident and identify the contributing factors. PGB confirmed that the investigation is expected to conclude by May. The company's current focus is on ensuring public safety, assisting those impacted, and securing the gas supply. As part of ongoing efforts, the company is assessing remedial actions and working closely with authorities to ensure safe and efficient operations in the area. However, it remains committed to resolving the issue with the highest priority and will continue to provide updates as the situation develops. And now on to world affairs. China on Monday said the United States was aiming for hegemony in the name of reciprocity through its massive tariffs program announced by President Donald Trump. According to Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian said the U.S. is seeking hegemony in the name of reciprocity, sacrificing the legitimate interests of all countries to serve its own selfish interests and prioritizing the U.S. over international rules.
美国以对等为名，行霸权之实，牺牲各国的正当利益，服务一己之私，将美国优先凌驾于国际规则之上，是典型的单边主义、保护主义和经济霸凌行径。
See the world closer with TVS as we bring the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvsarawak.my or follow us on our social media platforms at TV Sarawak. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Shal Shamato. Thank you for watching and have a good night.